Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video is going to talk about the kinds of a consonant based on the place of the articulation. Okay, this video is the further explanation of the previous video about kinds of a consonant. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, what is the place of the articulation? Place of articulation is where the place in the vocal tract that could become the place of the constriction or the articulation on the oral cavity or nasal cavity. Okay, this is going to explain about where is the spot or the location of the halt or the constriction or the articulation happen somewhere in the oral cavity or in the nasal cavity that become a place where the halt or the constriction itself happen that can cause the human producing the sounds of a consonant. The classifications of a consonant based on the place of the articulation is classified into 7 classification. The first one is bilabial, or you can say it as, or you can pronounce it as bilabial. B means 2. Labia means lips. That's why it's called as bilabial or bilabial. Bilabials mean the place of articulation is on the 2 lips, which are the primary articulators. The sound made by bringing the lips closer together. Closer together means the lip is close. It's closer, but it doesn't have to be close. It can be closer and it can be closed. So what are the bilabial or the bilabial sound that made by bringing the lip closer together? It is p, b, and o. By pronouncing those phonetic symbols, you're going to know that your lips is closer together or even closed together. The second classification based on the place of the articulation is labiodental. Labiodental comes from the word labia, means lips, and dental means teeth. So, labiodentals mean you are articulate the lower lips with the upper teeth. So, your lower lips, it's going to touch your upper teeth. So, what are the sounds that is classified into the labiodental? There are 2. F or f and or v, like in 5 and vibe. The third classification based on the place of the articulation is dental or interdental. So, dental means teeth, inter mean between. So interdental is mean between the dental. So the place of the articulation is between the dental. The tongue tip is between the two front teeth or the rims. Okay. So you are going to find that your tips of the tongue is placed in between the front teeth. There are two sounds. The first one is a and a z. Okay, a and a z. The fourth is alveolar. The place of articulation is after the palatal, behind the front teeth. We have what it called as alveolar ridge or alveolar. On the alveolar ridge, when the tongue or the tip of the tongue or even the middle or the blade of the tongue is touching the positions of the alveolar ridge, that is when the human produce the sounds of alveolar. Okay. There are 7 consonants of 7 phonetic symbols which are classified into the alveolar because the place of articulation is in the alveolar ridge. The first one is t, d, s, z, n, l, or l, and r or r. Something that you should remember, some of people sometimes have a different term which is differentiate between alveolar and post-alveolar. Post-alveolar is when the place of the articulation is not on the point of the alveolar, but a little bit rear from the alveolar ridge. Means it doesn't on the exact point in the alveolar ridge, but it's almost or near touching the alveolar ridge. Then it's called the post-alveolar. There are 3 sounds. There are r, n, and l that categorize into post-alveolar. 5 is palatal. Palatal is hard palate. So the tongue or the front of the tongue is articulate on the hard palate. There are some sounds that are articulate on the hard palate. There are y or I, z, j, sh, and ch. All the sound is made by articulating the tongue and the hard palate. Articulating or constricted the tongue to the hard palate. 6. Valor. The back of the tongue articulate with the soft palate. Velars mean volume, or it's called as soft palate. So the velar sound, it's the tongue is articulate with the velar or the volume, and that causes the productions of the velar sound. So what are the velar sound? There are k, g, and ng. So if you produce those sounds, you can find that your volume or your soft palate is moving or articulated to make the sounds of k, g, and ng. And the last is 7. 7. Glottal. An obstruction between the vocal cord but no vibrations. Okay, this sound is articulated on the glottis. That's why it's called as glottal sound. It's made by closing or shutting the glottis. So you are going to have the sounds of and and okay, that's all the video about the classifications of a consonant based on the place of articulation. See you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.